Hi there, hope you're all doing well. This week I fancied trying something a little bit different. I'm taking a melee that wouldn't normally look evil and I'm going to give them an evil colour scheme. So I've grabbed Commander Lucrezza from the Secrets of Tixal campaign by one-page rules. She was black and white zenithally primed and I get started with smoke black over the majority of the mini. If I knew I was going to go down this route, I probably would have just airbrushed smoke black onto the mini straight away and just not added the white ink. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You could also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. Next up, I start working on the Cloak with Field Grey as the mid-tone. This covers most of the fabric parts, just leaving that darker shadow colour in the recessed parts. Adding a highlight to the cloak, I went over the edges and the tips of the folds with Ranger Cloak. With the fabric now finished, I get started on the armor panels with a mid-tone of lead grey, just leaving that smoke black in the recesses and shadowed parts. Bringing up one side of the armor panels, I used English grey. This is mostly just to add some variation to the flat panels and a bit of a light variation. Getting started on her skin, I grabbed Barbarian Brawn for the base coat. Getting the mid-tone for the skin done now, I grabbed Dwarven skin, which for some reason just really didn't cover anywhere near what it normally does. For some reason this took several coats to get up to opacity. for the leather straps and the inside of the pleats, I went for reddish grey. Breaking up some of that reddish grey, I added a small highlight and went around with warm grey. I felt the armor panels needed a little bit more, so I got the pale grey and went around the edges and dotted in her eyes at the same time. Next up, I get the base done with burnt umber. I should have done the hair at this point, but completely ignored the hair for several more colours before I realised that I'd missed it and went back and done it with burnt umber. Finishing off the skin, I went over the most pronounced parts now with Elven skin. Now to start on the metallics, I used Dwarven iron, added a robot leg, the elbow pad and the shield on her chest. For the remaining parts I want to be silver, I went over them with Surcoat silver. You can't really be a commander without having some kind of gold somewhere, so I went over the more decorative parts with dragon's gold. Getting the wings on her bird done, I grabbed Spartan bronze. I want some of the gold parts to pop a little bit more, so I added a highlight with AK Interactive's gold. The silver parts also needed a bit of a highlight with Mythril blade. Now we'll get started on the part that actually inspired me to do this thing in the first place. I wanted to get some practice in with red non-metallic metal. So to start off, I used hull red for the bulk of the sword, just leaving that black covering a small amount. Pushing the red brighter now, I went over a smaller area than the whole red with Asmodeus red. This might be a bit too high of a jump now, but the next colour on the sword is Sanguine Scarlett, covering a slightly smaller area than the last. For the brightest red I used, I went with Demon Red. Now for what I think is actually a mistake, I added an edge highlight on the sword with silver grey. I think this is a mistake though, as it's such a massive jump from the main colour of the sword. If I was to do this again, I would probably use an orange or a dark yellow instead for the edges. To wash the mini, I used dark tone wash over everything but the sword, face and gold parts. For the gold and the face, I went for flesh wash. And that will be it for Lucrezza. For the base, I just added a bit of texture paste and some grass tufts. These sort of contrast well with the darker armor and draw your attention more towards that red sword. And speaking of the red sword, I think it's okay. There's definitely some more work to be done with that red non-metallic metal, but it's a good start and a good thing to practice. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. You could also join Discord using the link in the description, where you can share anything you have been working on. As always, if you want a closer look at this mini, check out my Instagram page. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Most importantly though, be kind to each other.